The world often tells us that young love is fleeting, that the passions of teenagers dissolve with time, replaced by logic, responsibility, and the hard lessons of life. Yet, sometimes, that first spark burns brighter than anyone dares to believe. This is the story of Elena and Daniel, two souls who dared to defy the world, who ran away to chase love, lost each other in the storm of fate, and somehow, against all odds, found their way back. Elena was 16 the first time she realized that Daniel was more than just a friend. He lived 3 streets down from her in their quiet town, where everyone knew everyone else's business. She had seen him in school, seen the way his dark hair always fell into his eyes, the way he laughed even when teachers tried to scold him. But what drew her in wasn't his confidence. It was the way he looked at her when no one else was watching, as if she were the only person who mattered in the entire world. Their meeting started small. A glance across the schoolyard, a note slipped into her hand during math class, a smile exchanged when they passed each other on bicycles. Then came late-night walks by the river, where the moonlight was their only witness. "Elena," Daniel whispered one night, their hands brushing together before finally locking. "If our parents ever found out," she said quickly. Her heart raced as she leaned closer. "They can't." Their town was strict, and so were their families. Daniel's father wanted him to work in the factory after graduation. Elena's parents dreamed of her marrying the son of a wealthy businessman. Neither of them would approve of this reckless, unstoppable love growing in the shadows. And so, Elena and Daniel became actors in their own lives, pretending to be obedient children by day, while the nights belonged only to them. The more they tried to hide, the more impossible it became. Each stolen kiss deepened the hunger, each promise whispered in the dark made them reckless. By the time Elena turned 17 and Daniel 18, they were no longer satisfied with secrecy. They dreamed of freedom, of a place where they didn't have to look over their shoulders. "We'll leave," Daniel said one evening, determination flashing in his eyes. "We'll get on the train and go somewhere no one knows us. We'll start over." Elena's breath caught. "Another country?" "Yes," he said firmly. "It doesn't matter where, as long as it's far from here." Fear and excitement tangled inside her, but when Daniel reached for her hand, she nodded. "Then I'll go anywhere with you." The night they left, the air smelled of rain. Elena carried a small bag, nothing more than a few clothes and the necklace her grandmother had given her. Daniel had saved money secretly from odd jobs, enough for 2 tickets across the border. They boarded the train just before dawn, their fingers intertwined, hearts pounding with the thrill of rebellion. As the wheels screeched and the train lurched forward, Elena rested her head on Daniel's shoulder. "We're really doing this." "We're free," Daniel replied, pressing a kiss to her hair. "You and me, always." Outside the window, the familiar fields disappeared into the distance, replaced by unknown lands. For the first time, they felt alive. But freedom came at a cost. The foreign city they arrived in was bigger, colder, and less forgiving than they had imagined. Jobs were scarce, and apartments even more so. They lived in cheap hostels, moving from place to place, surviving on bread and soup. Yet Elena didn't complain. As long as she had Daniel, she believed they could endure anything. Then came the letter. A heavy, official letter with Daniel's name printed neatly on the front. His hands trembled as he opened it, and Elena's heart sunk when she saw his pale face. "It's the army," he said quietly. "They've drafted me. I have no choice." The words crashed over her like icy water. "But, Daniel, we just got here. You can't leave me." He cupped her face in his hands, his eyes blazing with both fear and love. "Elena, listen to me. I'll come back. I swear it. No matter how long it takes, no matter what happens, I'll come back for you." The next week, he was gone. Soldiers came and Daniel was whisked away in a uniform too big for his frame. Elena stood at the station, her tears blurring the sight of him waving goodbye from the train. She felt her heart break, but she clung to his words. "I'll come back." Alone in a foreign country, Elena quickly learned how cruel the world could be. With no steady income, no family, and no protection, she drifted from one temporary job to another, washing dishes, cleaning houses, anything to keep herself alive. Some nights she slept in shelters, other nights in train stations. Her hands grew rough, her once bright eyes dulled by exhaustion. It was during this time that she met Victor. He was older, stable, and kind in his own way. He owned a small shop and often offered her leftover bread when she passed by. Slowly, he began to talk to her, to ask about her life. When he discovered her desperation, he made an offer: marriage. "You won't have to suffer anymore," Victor said gently. "I can give you a home, Elena, security. You deserve better than wandering the streets." Elena's heart ached. She thought of Daniel every night, his voice echoing in her mind. But weeks turned into months and no letter came, no sign of his return. Fear gnawed at her. What if he never came back? What if he had already forgotten her? With trembling hands, she accepted Victor's proposal. Their wedding was small, plain, without joy. When he slipped the ring onto her finger, she forced a smile, but inside, she felt hollow. Victor was a good man, but she did not love him. Her heart belonged to someone else, someone who might already be gone. Years passed. Elena learned to live with Victor, though the emptiness never left her. She played the role of a dutiful wife, but her soul longed for Daniel. She often sat by the window at night, staring at the horizon, wondering if he still thought of her. And then, one autumn afternoon, everything changed. She was walking home from the market when she heard her name spoken in a voice she hadn't heard in years. A voice that made her freeze, her heart leaping to her throat. "Elena!" She turned slowly, and there he was. Daniel. His hair was shorter now, his face harder, marked by the weight of war. But his eyes, the same deep, burning eyes, were unchanged. "Elena!" she whispered, dropping the basket in her hands. Tears filled her vision as she stumbled toward him. He caught her in his arms, holding her as if afraid she might vanish. "I told you I'd come back," he murmured, his voice breaking. "I searched everywhere for you." She clung to him, sobbing. "I thought you lost me forever." When Victor learned the truth, there was no anger in him, only resignation. He had always known Elena's heart was elsewhere. Quietly, with dignity, he let her go. Elena and Daniel left the city together, hand in hand, just as they had years ago. But this time, they did not run away in secrecy. This time, they walked boldly towards their future, unafraid. They built a home, small but warm, and filled it with laughter. They worked hard, side by side, creating a life out of nothing. And in time, they were blessed with children, whose bright eyes carried the reflection of their love. On quiet nights, when the children slept and the stars shone overhead, Daniel would pull Elena close and whisper, "See, we made it. After everything, we're here." And Elena, with tears of joy, would reply, "Always. You and me, always." Years later, when their hair had turned silver and their children had grown, Elena and Daniel often sat together on the porch of their little house. Neighbors saw only an old couple, holding hands in silence. But those who looked closer could see it, the fire that had never died, the love that had survived every storm. Their story was not perfect. It was marked by loss, by sacrifice, by mistakes, but it was real. And in the end, love had conquered everything.